Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the International Simracing Organization Season 2019, one of the last open races of this year. And welcome, everybody. My name is Pascal Mikula. It is the 1991 Fuji Television Japanese Grand Prix in Formula 1. Now, before we start, it's, as I said, one of the last races of the season in preparation to the amazing 2020 season that we have in store for everybody. Now, first of all, let's quickly look into Automobilista as we currently have open practice running before the qualifying session, which is set to start in about 10 to 15 minutes. So, one second. Here we go. Now on screen we have Adam Hackman driving Ferrari 643. He's taking us around the circuit. This is Kansai Classic. The more informative of you know this as Suzuka International Racing Course. Now, I should be joined by Alberto Ibanez any second now, but not sure if he's going to join. Anyway, at the moment open practice is running, and at about the top of the hour we should experience a start of qualifying. Now, first of all, before anything else goes, let's just take a look at the moment at these cars. 1991 FIA Formula 1 World Championship. We have 3.5 liter or 213 cubic inches, if my math is correct, naturally aspirated engines. 1988 was the last year of the first turbo era, so now we have naturally aspirated engines ranging from about 550 to 600 to about 800 brake horsepower. Got all the ranges: V8s, V10s, V12s, I think even a Boxer 12, if I remember correctly, the Subaru one, or was it only 1990? I have no idea. Anyway, we have V8s, the most famous one, I would say, the Ford HP, as found in the Benetton. Then we have V10s like the 1990 model Honda, which is in the Turo, or in the Renault RS series in the Williams. And then we have the V12s, the Ferrari, the Honda, even the Yamaha V12, which you can find in the Brabham, and all that other stuff. So that's good. The cars have 6-speed manual transmission or 7-speed in the case of the Ferrari. The only cars with not a stick shift are the Ferrari, as I said, with the 7-speed, and the Williams with the 6-speed paddle shifter. The others are all stick shifts. And that's very important that you use all 3 pedals, as I said, including the clutch, and you have to be very, very careful when shifting. We have 4 race tire compounds and 2 compounds for qualifying. For the race we have super softs, medium and hard, and for qualifying there's hard qualifying and soft qualifying, as you can imagine. Now, just a quick back into the cars. We have as I said, some people who have made their first ISO start here. For example, Mike Olsen, he's in the Ligier. Let's just take a quick. Let's just go around the circuit with him real quick. He's approaching 130R, almost flat out. Oh, he goes off the track swiftly. Okay, let's not go around the track with him. Let's instead do it with Gabriel de Piccolo. He is in Brabham with the Yamaha V12 engine, as I said. So he's currently in the SS, exiting the SS. You can hear the distinct growl of that V12 through Degner curve. And the Suzuka or Kansai circuit, as it is called in Automobilista, is also the only track on the calendar that has an overpass, basically a figure 8 configuration. Through this hairpin to 200R, as I learned it today, it's called. A fast right-hand sweeper going towards Spoon Curve. I practiced it myself quite a lot, this track. And it's also very important that you downshift there correctly, not to blow the engine. Now, going towards 130R, which I wanted to say is an almost flat out left-hander. Gabriel lifts just a little bit there, approaching the chicane. Very tight first gear. Or second gear in his case. Oh, and there's contact between him and the car that we have to find out who it is. Adam Heckman, I suppose. Wasn't a Ferrari. Anyway. One second. And as I said, the drivers are there just doing some practice before the qualifying starts. And yeah, there's not really much to say. Got David Jakes who just practiced the start there on the start-finish straight. He's in the LaRousse. And he's currently going through the S's. You have on the top right, you see a little map there that we can use as a sort of tracker for the drivers. And as he's currently exiting the S's again, let's look at the track itself at the moment, the Suzuka International Racing Course. It's a 3.644 miles or about 5.8 kilometers long track. With, yeah, as I said, it's a figure 8 configuration basically, the only track on the calendar that does that. The race itself consists of 53 laps or 2 hours, whichever one comes first, and that means in total we will have about 310 kilometers distance, or a tad bit over 193 miles. So, Gianluca Desposito in the Lotus. Also going through 200R. Nice little camera setting here on the front wing, so you can see how low these cars are to the ground. It's very important to get a good exit there out of Spoon Curve onto the straight, because of the tires, the way they work is they overheat very fast, let's say that. So you have to look after your tires, of course. Gianluca, he is not on a hot lap at the moment, so he's not on risk of burning his tires or anything. Now, there, yep, he lands on the gravel trap. As you can see, there's still gravel there, and it's deep. You really have trouble getting out of there if you land in there, but fortunately there's still some tarmac. And yeah, Adam Heckman, he's in the 7-speed Ferrari. He's got the 7-speed flappy paddle gearbox, and I suppose we just experience a little bit of lag, which is, well, it's not the end of the world. Let's just go on board with him real quick. You can see we have 7 gears in this car, and you can hear the distinct V12. Very powerful, but also very thirsty. It's going through the gears, 5th gear, 6th. Let's see, does he get to 7th gear on the approach to 130R? He does, I think. And then braking hard for the chicane. He locks a wheel, and yeah, this chicane is really tight, so you have to get it absolutely perfect if you want to get a good time in qualifying. I should probably explain the qualifying format as well before we go. Should be soon to start qualifying, if I didn't confuse my timing. So every driver has basically 4 attempts. It's 12 laps, but the out and in lap count as a lap as well, so everyone gets 4 attempts at setting the best time. Again, Mike Olsen exiting the pits at the moment here in this Ligier with Lamborghini V12, being followed by, I think that's Jason Whited, who's in the McLaren MP4-4. And he just went off track. We have Bruno Chacon, who is driving the number 6 Williams with the Renault V10. This is the second car on this lineup that has a flappy pedal gearbox. You hear it. There's no lifting on the upshifts, no blipping on the downshifts. It's basically what every Formula 1 car nowadays has, the sequential, this is the semi-automatic sort of gearbox. Let's join him on a lap around this track. He hit the curb there. Oh! And there's contact with the arm crawl. I wonder, when does qualifying start? It should have started by now. Seems like just a tad bit off schedule, but that shouldn't be an issue. And there's a little spin. Jason Whited going too hot into turn 1 to that long right hand corner that tightens up in the middle of it. So that's just how on the edge these cars are when you're going flat out. One little mistake and you're just sideways. It's amazing. Anyway, it looks like we're missing an admin to reset the server to race settings. So yeah, it looks like extended practice session. So just, hang tight, guys. Hang tight, everybody. Race fans, we're not going to be missing this race today. It is Sunday the 1st of December, scheduled date for this race today. No word of that. Then again, real life goes ahead, so if the commanding admin today has had something come in between, we can't really blame them, can we? Yeah, just get word that there are some server settings that need to be corrected before qualifying, so that is most likely the reason for the slight delay. But as I said, there's no issue with that. In the meantime, Gianluca Disposito, he's using that extended practice time and he's going through the chicane right now. As you can see, it's really tight. You have to go through there in first or second gear. And now he's going. You can see going to the first corner. Tightens up, and then you go into the S's. A left, another right corner, another left-hand corner, another right-hand corner, and then yet another left. It's really something. If you push too hard, you can overheat your tires, and then you lose all the grip. So that's where you have to be careful, and the drivers know that. Under the bridge, oh, a little bit loose moment there, towards the hairpin. First gear hairpin. Accelerating through the right-hander 200R for its 200-meter radius, I think. That's accurate. Into spoon. Fourth gear for Gianluca. Shifts down to third gear for this corner. A little bit tight, and then going onto the back straight. He missed the gear. He missed the gear, and that's what I mean with you have to be really careful when shifting, because if you miss a shift, you miss out on some sweet torque. Through the chicane and onto the start-finish straight. Back onto turn 1. So we will be starting qualifying shortly, and then we will go on time hunt basically. See, we have 23 or 24 confirmed starters, and with the rule being that there's a maximum of 26 starters in the Grand Prix, as we see Gabriel de Piccolo having a little bit loose moment out of 130R. Let me just finish that thought real quick. We won't have anyone getting out qualified, which is quite good. So we've got less than 26 drivers going for a maximum of 26 slots. No one's gonna miss out on the race tonight. Now, again, missed a little shift there, but it's only practice. Jason Whited is chasing Del Piccolo through 200R here. Going to Spoon, down to 4th. Del Piccolo goes a little wide there, and Whited is on his tail now. He's chasing him down. V12 versus V12, Yamaha versus Honda. And the Honda is just got more power. It's just got more power. And he pulls alongside him and passes him. And has a little bit of a loose moment there coming out of 130R. Now get your braking point right and go through the chicane, and that is yet another lap done at the Suzuka track. Okay, and we're going to qualifying. The server's getting reset right now, and I'll be back in just a few minutes. and we're back for qualifying. Again, there's Victor Alcocer in the Tyrrell Honda. He's driving basically the 1990 Honda V10, while McLaren gets the Honda V12. That's no problem though, the Honda V10's got grunt. Now, again, quickly look at the ins and outs of qualifying. It's not that difficult. 12 laps, an out lap and an in lap counts as a lap, so basically the drivers get 4 attempts at setting their best time. And as I said earlier, 26 drivers at most get to start the Grand Prix. We got less than 26 entrants, so no one gets bumped out of qualifying. So, Victor, he's the first car on track basically, going for a time. It's going towards 130R right now. Actually, there's Mike Olsen. He's going through the first corner right now. Let's see what he does. Going carefully into the SS. Don't want to overheat those tires. Very smooth through the SS. And now put the foot to the floor towards Degner. Little downshift. Rush over the curbs. And under the bridge. There you go. First sector 44.839. He's very careful through a spoon there. Third gear and back on the power. That Lamborghini V12 screaming in the background. Behind him, going to 130R. Lift actually does shift down to 5th, and now we go to the chicane. Tight corner. Goes through. And the first time in this qualifying is a... Oh, careful Mike there, you gotta lose it if you keep it. It's a 1 minute 51.499 and oh, Mike slams on the brakes, but he's got provisional pole at the moment. Next up, Bruno Chacon. First lap, and it's a 1 minute 44.711 provisional pole now for Bruno Chacon. Everybody's got to finish their lap first, of course. Next up, Dave Miller. He's going to start his lap. Meanwhile, Dave Saber has also beaten Bruno Chacon by another 2.5 seconds there. So currently the pole time is a 1 minute 42.368. Saber going for another fast lap there. And current pole position for Gabriele Del Piccolo in the Brabham Yamaha. He actually beat Dave Saber by about 3/10. V12 versus V12. And yeah.
User joined your channel.
And I'm now joined by Alberto Ibanez. As I said earlier, hello Alberto.
Hello Pascal.
How are you doing, sir?
Fine. I'm trying to have a talk with Jonathan so that we can set up the grid correctly. How's everything going here? The broadcast already on?
Yes, we're in qualifying and I'm broadcasting, yes.
Okay. I'll be back with you in some moments.
Okay. And David Saber going through 130R, flat out, not even lifting. And he's on course for a new pole time. Ray Riddle currently has the pole.
User was moved out of your channel.
Oh, what's Dave Saber actually went through the chicane in 4th gear. What a clever tactic to keep the wheels from spinning. And he's crossing the finish line in a 1 minute and 41.57. Didn't quite make it for pole, but he's currently in 2nd place. 1st place is Ray Riddle with a 1 minute 40.72. And Adam Hackman is currently in the 2nd row at the 141.744. Bruno Chacon on a hot lap, going hot through those curbs and under the bridge. He's definitely up for a new Prix B. He's got his personal best in the 1st sector, 42.13. He stood on that throttle out of the corner. You just heard the engine growl there, or scream. He's going towards Spoon. Not gonna touch the curb, but he went through there very fast. Going towards 130R now. And he is en route to a personal best, 1 second up on his personal best in total. Find the right braking point for the chicane. And right, left, and careful not to spin out there. That's a tricky part of the track. Did exit out of the last chicane, and he crosses the start-finish line. 1 minute, 43.418. He's still in 5th place, but he made up 1.3 seconds on his last time. Gianluca Desposito is now out on a lap there. Didn't set a lap time yet, but he's en route for his first. Locks up the front left a little bit there, but no problem. He's going towards Spoon. Third gear. Careful, I think his front tires might be overheating. He had a little bit of a struggle there. Anyway, 4th gear, 5th, and up in top gear, 6th gear, 6-speed H pattern. Most of these cars have them, but he's rather careful on this one. Well done through the chicane there, and he crosses the finish line in just a few seconds, and his time is 1 minute and 55.8582. So he's currently 8th and last in line. And we got Jason Whited in the number 1 McLaren going for his first fast lap here. Top speed, going down the straight and through the first 2 corners. Well done, no slide at all. Through the S is a wonderful view we have from the helicopter. These qualifying tires really grip very well unless they overheat. But Jason, he made it through these S's wonderfully. Now he's going on the throttle towards Digna. And let's see what his first sector time is. He's in the arguably one of the fastest cars, if not the fastest car in the grid. Careful, there's Ligier. And he is up on pole time by 1.7 seconds. So almost got a little bit more than 39 minutes left on the qualifying timer. And Whited, he's going through Spoon now. Careful not to hit the curb. You can see how twitchy the car is as well, but he's got it under control. On the back straight, going towards Spoon. and last moment braking for the chicane. Locks up a little bit, but he's on the edge, going through the last corner, and his time is incredibly fast. Might be under 1 minute 40, and it's a 1 minute 37.943, almost 3 seconds faster than the current pole time by Ray Riddell. Jason White got provisional pole for this Japanese Grand Prix. Incredible. David Jakes, he's now arguably one of the fastest drivers on this grid. 2 years ago, when the 91 mod was run already, he became the series champion. And now he's in the LaRousse and he's going out for a qualifying time. Oh, we catch Jason Fitch on his first lap here with a very much sideways moment. And it wouldn't have done much good to his tires. Now, let's see who's coming across the start-finish line next. See Victor in the turtle going out for another qualifying run. And at the moment it stands that Jason Whited in the McLaren sits on pole position. Ray Riddell in red number 5 is in second, and David Saber in the Ferrari is currently in third place in qualifying. We're seeing a Lotus coming across the start finish line. Right behind him is a Ligier. And there's a LaRousse. And that's David Jakes, and he just got a 1 minute 41 to get him into third place at the moment on the grid. There's Dave Miller. Haven't talked about him at all. He's in the Modena with a Lamborghini V12. And he's currently sitting in 8th. He's currently in the 4th row of the grid in 8th place, and he's going for another run. He's going through the chicane and starting his next lap. So let's accompany him on this lap around Suzuka. Now I'm gonna shut up real quick because this Lamborghini, it's got some distinct sound to it. as Dave Miller now comes out of the last corner across the line. His time being a 1 minute 46.577, 1.5 seconds up on his personal best. It certainly didn't help him that much that he ran up to Jorion into Digna Curve, but at least it didn't damage his car, at least they didn't crash. So, and at the moment qualifying order still stands with Jason Whited on pole, with David Jakes actually in second place now, Ray Riddell in third, Dave Saber in fourth, Adam Hackman in fifth, Gabriele Del Piccolo in sixth, Bruno Chacon is seventh, Dave Miller, we just watched him do a lap, he's in eighth, Mike Olsen currently ninth, Jason Fitch 10th, Gianluca Desposito is in 11th, and speaking of the devil, here he just goes through the S's. So, and we've listened to V10s, we listened to V12s, now let's listen to a V8. The Benetton Ford of Brian Janik now crossing the line for his first qualifying run. He's definitely pushing hard, Brian Janik is. No mercy on his tires, but I wouldn't have mercy on my tires either. They only they just have to last one lap, you know. He's going towards Stegner Curve. Let's see where he lands on the timesheets. First sector, it's a 40.891. Going through the hairpin. You can hear he has to lift when shifting. Still an old age pattern gearbox that we all know from our passenger cars. And he runs up on his teammate there, Jan Kowalski, who is on a warm-up lap. As far as I see it, he lets him through very generously. And Janik is now on the back straight going towards the 130R. Almost slid out through, hops over the curb, didn't do any bad to his car, overtakes another car into the chicane. Right, left, another right, long right hand corner. It's very important to get the grip down there. And his time is a 1 minute 41.483, fifth place at the moment for Brian Janik on the grid. In front of Adam Hackman, who himself is currently on a fast lap. This is now his second or third try, I think. Well, that's the second try. He's just a little bit down on his personal best. Going through the hairpin. Through Spoon, pushing very hard. He wants that fifth place at least. He wants to get closer to David Saber for sure. There he is, coming to 130R. And there he goes, into the chicane. Let's see how he does. Well, he gets the power down very well. Fourth gear, fifth gear, sixth gear. And it's a 1 minute 41.249. He did actually get into fourth place with that one. So very nice, half a second up on his best lap so far. And Grant Radal also in the LaRousse. He's now out on his first flying lap. Didn't notice that, but that's not an issue. He's a teammate of David Jakes, so they both have the same equipment, and they're both almost equally fast drivers, so just because they're in a LaRousse doesn't mean they're gonna be at the back or even in the midfield. As we see, David Jakes is currently second place. And it looks like Grant Radal is not going to be far off. He's going into the chicane. Doesn't even lock up a tire. That is perfect braking. Gets the power down well. And his time at the start-finish line is a 1 minute 41.759. He was probably just taking it calm there. He is currently in 7th place. Oh, and Victor Alcocer getting held up or letting through Jan Kowalski. So Tyrrell V10 following Ford V8 is having a look into 130R. And he misses the chicane, unfortunately. And Roger Rapp also in the Jordan Ford Jordan J191. Going very slowly, so he's just on his warm-up lap there, his out lap, so he wants to put as little strain on his tires as possible. Understandable, but his tires are also very, very cold then. Starting number 33. And he's now going towards the chicane to start his first flying lap. So let's see what he did. Let's see what he can do in this car. Remember the Jordan 191, the car that Michael Schumacher made his debut in 1991 at Spa. Burned out his clutch on the start, but fortunately this sort of mechanical failure can't happen here.
User joined your channel.
So Alberto's back with us. Hello.
Yeah, we've had a bit of a talk on our means just to coordinate. The server seems to feel that it's set 53 laps, so there should be no problem at all.
Yes, it's set to the normal race distance.
So far Jason White is in front in qualifying by a good margin. Seems to have the hang of the McLaren.
Indeed, yes, he's 3 seconds ahead of David Jakes. And David Jakes, really remarkable, he's beaten the Ferraris and everything else in the LaRousse so far. So, I think we're in for quite an exciting race.
I think it's most impressive, he's in front, very much in front of Brad Vidal, who is driving a Williams, which is the quickest car in this field. And Bryce certainly is one of the quickest drivers also, so I mean, Jason White must have done something really well if he has been able to get such an advantage.
Indeed, yeah. I think there's just a fine line between setting the car perfectly and getting 2 or 3 seconds off, and I think Jason hit that line perfectly. Oh, there's Sir Arion. Oh, he's on the racing line, while red number 5. That is, I think that was Ray Radal that we talked about.
He
Just
seems
got
to be
past him.
improving his lap so far, so it doesn't look as if that lap car has hindered him too much.
So let's see what he's doing. He's going towards Spoon. And he got that line very well.
Yes, this is a track where balancing the speed is absolutely important, because you have all those S's and all those turns that are connected with each other, and there's always a temptation to go a bit quicker through a turn because you feel that the car can, but then you screw completely the entry to the next turn and you might even go out of the track, if not lose a lot of time. So in that regard, it's very, very complicated, it's very technical, and you have to be very much on top of the car at all times and not letting yourself get carried away with the ability of the car to go quicker.
And Ray certainly was on top of his game with this lap. Put, I think, 2 seconds on his personal best there. Beat Janik by over a second, so he's now sitting in second place. So at the moment it's McLaren number 1 and Williams number 5 sharing the front row.
We should remind everybody anyway that this is just the qualifying, and as happened also in the Real Formula 1 this year, the qualifying tires here are very different. They are actually a full, completely different upgrade. And it's also, well, there are tires that have nothing to do with the race tires, because later the cars might be able to use one or another race tire, and some cars will go for a softer one because they tolerate it, and others will need a harder one. Therefore, all that we are seeing now in qualifying could really change a lot later.
Indeed, might be that Jason has, well, it might be, it's just a hypothesis by me that Jason has more focused on setting his car up for qualifying. So who knows what we're gonna see in the race, but I suppose that it's gonna be very close between the top 4, maybe top 5 at the moment, as far as qualifying goes. Oh, Gerard Rion getting out of the Spoon curve and missing quite a lot of gears there.
Excuse me, we'll be back in a moment.
And Gerard going through 130R there into the chicane now.
Out of your channel.
Let's see Gerard's lap time. As he goes over the line, it's 2 minutes, .824. We probably had a little bit of a mishap during that lap that we didn't catch, but well, it's still 20 minutes till the end of qualifying, so anything can happen. And as Alberto and myself just spoke about it, there's Jason Whitehead in the red and white McLaren MP4-6. I almost said MP4-4. That's the red and white MP4-6 with the Honda V12 3.5 liter engine. He's going for his next run. He's going reasonably slowish, quickish maybe. Simply just to keep tire wear in check, but also to keep the tires warm. That's very important, because if they're too cold, they just won't grip. And now he's accelerating and warming up his tires just a little bit.
User joined your channel.
And Jason White now goes through the chicane to start his next flying lap.
How many runs has he done already?
I think this is his third run now.
Yes, 6 laps. So he's starting his 7th lap now,
8th lap.
and each run is four laps, right?
For one
Or
run is
3 laps.
3 or 4 laps, depending on how many flying laps you go. And Jason Whitehead has gone off the track in the first corner. So that's that qualifying lap done. He might do another one, or he might go to the pits now. Let's see if he can get his tires cleaned off quickly. And I hope he hasn't done too much wear to those tires in the first corner there. So that lap is ruined. He went off out of turn 1.
It was already his first launched lap, right?
Say again?
It was his first launched lap. I mean, he will probably be doing this one very slow.
Yes.
And then try again, so as not to harm the tires, and then try again to do a very quick one.
Most likely.
I think David.
Oh, and he spun out of the hairpin. Okay. Oh, he needs to be careful. If if he had spun him too much, his rear tires might have just blown, but they didn't. So he's back on his way. Maybe he's looking at the times and he's seeing Ray Riddle getting quite close to him, but oh, that was a scary moment there.
It was, yes.
And while Jason White is making his way back to the start-finish area, we're now looking at David Jakes in the LaRousse. He's going through the chicane, starting his next run. He's currently sitting in 4th place on the time sheet. And he's now crossing the start-finish line to start his next flying lap. Alberto, I was talking about the tires with quite some excitement earlier. Can you explain the difference between this tire model on these cars and the last time we saw them on track 2 years ago?
The difference that Ricardo has introduced, apart from all his magic in the slip angles and the tire curves and all that, is that the tires are now very sensitive to temperature as they were in real life. So what you have now is tires that need to be pushed, but also need to be kept at a certain temperature margin. I mean, if they are too cold or too warm, they will not be working properly, and that gives you a smaller window of efficiency where you can use them. They are very good in that window, but you must not get carried away, because if you heat them up too much, then they not just lose traction, but they are very prone to blowing if you got a spin or something like that. So it's now tire management, so to speak, has been entered in this mod in a very stimulating way, in a very professional way, because now you have to really take care of those tires. I mean, this all is in the line of what you already had done in the Fuji mode, in the VLM mode, with the fuel consumption and all that. So this is no longer a mode where you can go as quick as you dare and continuously be hot lapping. If you see footage of the real cars, we have been shown some of those in the. Some people have posted links in the chat, in the forum. You can see that they were actually going quite slow in the warm-up lap because they didn't want to damage the tires, and then they were keeping a very steady rhythm, but they were not certainly pushing the car, sliding them around or doing anything like that. So that's basically the biggest difference. Very sensitive tires with a small window of operating temperature.
So basically it wouldn't be the So about the overheating, it wouldn't be the smartest idea if you spin to just drop the clutch and spin it around. You need to be careful, maybe even do only only 90 degree and then just do it like a 3-point turn so that you don't blow your tires, because after you slide and or spin around, naturally the tires are going to be pretty hot. Anyway, got 14 minutes left on the timing at the moment. As far as it stands now, we have 16 cars or 16 drivers that have posted lap times so far, with the current provisional pole sitter being Jason Whitehead in the McLaren MP4 6. There's 2 drivers that have not gone out on track yet, and those are Richard Wilkes in the Leighton House and Jonathan Asserclint in the Colony. And so far, as I see it now, David Sayer has already used up his total of laps, so his time of 1 minute 40.309 is final. So I think all he can do right now is hope that no one else goes faster than him right now, because he's currently sitting in 5th place. Talking about Richard Wilkes, he's now on his first fast lap in the Leighton House with the, I think the Ilmore was a V10, I think. So, Alberto, what do you think is going to happen in the race? So we have Jason Whited currently on pole with Ray Riddle in second. You think it's going to be a lot closer than it was in qualifying so far? Or do you expect some maybe tire chaos?
The key here is with the race compound that we have, which are super soft, medium hard. Every car will have, different cars will have probably different compounds for steering. So the ones who are able to use the softer compounds and yet hold on for the whole race, those are the ones who will be obviously going quicker and have better chances at the end. So it's hard to tell right now until we see how the race unfolds.
Okay, so Richard Wilkes now gone over the line, 1 minute 45.375. That puts him in 11th place. Nice between Bruno Chacon and Dave Miller. So he's currently just outside the top 10 with this, honestly, I must admit, gorgeous Leighton House. One of my favorite cars in the whole season, simply because it looks, I just like the looks of it personally. Now, 10 minutes left in qualifying, and let's see, Jason Whited, again out on track. It's going to be his last run. He is now on his out lap, going pretty slow. He has a Benetton in front of him. That's Brian Janik, who's also on his warm-up lap, on his out lap. So Jason has to keep his distance a little, and he does that in order to not run into him when they're both on their fast laps.
Well, this is obviously one of the challenges of Formula One qualifying. You have not just to be very careful with your tires and your laps, but also with the traffic. You have to go to track exactly in the correct moment, because otherwise, if there are cars holding you up, you might lose any chance of doing a really good lap.
Yeah, we saw that especially this year in real life Formula One. I don't know if you saw that, the qualifying at Monza, or even this weekend, yesterday at Abu Dhabi, when the Ferraris were screwed up again. So even today, the distance between the cars in qualifying is vital for getting good time.
It's too easy to get stuck behind the car and not be able to extract the most of their own.
Exactly. So now Ray Riddle, he is over the start-finish line, starts his lap. There comes Jason Whited, also over the start-finish line, just now to start his last flying lap in this qualifying session.
There he goes, pushing it hard.
A little bit sideways moment there.
Yeah, seems to be a very edgy setup that he has, with obviously as little fuel as he needs.
And oh, he's very sideways. Oh my goodness, he just saved it there. Let's see, what does the sector time say?
The rear tires will probably have overheated.
Yes, he just abandoned the lap there. Oh.
Yeah. You see, that's what happened now. He has quit. I don't think he's going to do any more attempts.
No, I think he can't. He can't.
He can get more out of the car.
He can't do any more attempts anyway. If he goes out now, his flying lap is going to be lap 13, and then
11 laps out of 13.
exactly.
So.
But he doesn't really have that much to fear. Ray Riddell is currently sitting in the pits as well. Ray has one more attempt to go. Jason doesn't, and Brian Janik, he just has his second to last attempt finished now, and he didn't manage to improve his time, unfortunately. But as I wanted to finish that thought right now, Jason Whitehead, the only driver he has to fear as far as getting pole position goes is Ray Riddell. And Ray has one attempt left, but he's sitting in the pit lane. He's probably waiting for the last possible moment.
Maybe so. His position isn't in danger anyway, because Brian Janik is still far from him, full second, but Brian is on track now, so we could watch him and see. No, he's on the pits.
Yes.
So he could have one more attempt, but let's see what he's going to do.
Brian just went into the pits. He had one lap that he just made a mistake in the S's, but we're now watching Adam Hackman finishing his last flying lap attempt. He's currently half a second up on his best time. He's going for a personal best. And he missed the chicane, and yeah, I think that's it. He has to abandon that lap. Unfortunate. Adam Hackman, his last lap, or his best lap now, 1 minute 41.249. So he's just behind David Saber. So at the moment it looks like the two Ferraris are occupying the third row on the grid. Now let's see which drivers still have an attempt left. We have about 5.5 minutes left in qualifying, and it's quite some drivers have finished their qualifying now, and we're just talking about Brian Janik. He's now going out of the pits again, Alberto.
So then he will be doing that last attempt. Well, a full second is a lot of time, but maybe he just wants to consolidate his position, because David Jacks, who is behind him, actually has another attempt, even if he's in the pits.
Beautiful view from the helicopter we got there. And there's that's a Brabham, that's Jarion. Oh, very close. Okay. I just got note that your voice is not very well heard on the broadcast, so I'll just fix that real quick. So Alberto, now Brian Janik preparing for his last flying run. So while he's on it, can you bring us through a lap of this beautiful circuit?
Well, actually, I'm not that familiar with all the corners. Like I said, I know all the flow of it goes, but I think you will have more practice than me. Brian is now right before the chicane. He's heating up the tires. But this is the old chicane. It doesn't exist anymore. But now he's picking up speed. He's going for the main straight. It's very important to come out accelerating of it here. And now you're going for a set of S's. That's the ones that I was commenting before. You have to pick here right the precise speed, because the car could go quicker, but you have to hit all your apexes, and especially here you have to be sure you have the margin to go right, now left, but here not go too enthusiastic, because you need to really be able to make the next turn. This is repeated here in the following S's. We're going, and then this long left hand corner that is up, going up, and as you see it's breakdown into several ones, but ends with this very fast one and now a very heavy braking, because we're coming again to this section that is a bit quick to hairpin, which is this one here. Car is turning around, now it's going to head again for a twisty section. This one where you have to be very careful with the speed here. The camber of the turn spits you out because you're going upwards and you car the slide. Brake down here for third gear probably, there you have it. Come out of this long turn and start accelerating again for this very quick section. Going to this is the alternate starting grid. And now it's 1, 2, and we're coming again to the chicane. Braking careful, this is very difficult because the references are very little. Coming out of here, power out the car, try not to slide the tires too much and accelerating, and you're coming now again to the main straight.
And exactly, that's one lap at Suzuka. Unfortunately, Brian in this lap could not improve his time, he just missed it by 3/10. But as I said, it shouldn't be that much of an issue. He's in third place at the moment. Really, really well done. Really, really good qualifying effort for the Benetton team. So
Bruno Chacon is still on track, also trying to improve.
Bruno Chacon in the Williams, exactly, driven by Riccardo Patrese back in 91. So he's currently on the back straight, going towards 130R. Didn't even lift, but I think this is not real hot lap attempt. He's quite some time behind his time, and he spins around. Oh,
yeah, that was a little dirt when trying to. I don't know if he was really trying to enter the pits or go for another lap. Not sure about it, but either way he has lost his opportunity and he's entering the pits now.
Yes. And I see Braugerep off track, missing his front and rear wing. Let's see what happened there. So he was entering a flying lap, going through the S as well. Through Digna, and then yeah, he got on, as I said earlier folks, that gravel trap, those gravel traps, they are deep and you have you got some difficulty getting out of there once you're in there, and that's what happened to Raul. And qualifying is over. So at the moment, is anyone still on track driving? That's Mick Chapman. Mick Chapman in the number 2 McLaren hasn't set a time yet, but he's on it. There are some drivers that did not set a time for this race.
Yeah, that's Mick Chapman now. He arrived a bit late and he's still on track, but maybe he can score a lap there.
Yeah, he needs to hurry.
About to finish his lap now on the chicane.
So And Mick Chapman is
10th.
10th. He managed
able to stop 10.
nice with a 1 minute 44.923, and it looks like, did Brian Janik leave the server before qualifying was over? He lost his qualifying time, didn't he?
Yes, because he apparently has changed the tires from quality race tires. Yeah.
Ah no, he did it. He did a wonderful qualifying effort, and now he has to start from the back of the grid.
We'll see. Wait a moment.
Qualifying's now over. So we're now in the warm-up session.
User was moved out of your channel.
So now we just got the warm-up session, and I'll be back in just a minute with the rest of the coverage and the race.
User joined your channel. Sound muted.
Now, we're all back now, and the warm-up is almost over.
Sound resumed.
And we're waiting 45 seconds left till the command to start engines will be heard, so that we will be on our way for 53 laps at Suzuka. Oh my. Why did Jonathan just move Brian to 4th place? Okay, race fans, we are now going to the warm-up lap soon. And when the warm-up lap starts, we'll do one short lap, reformation, and then we're gonna be underway for 53 laps at Suzuka. And formation lap is underway. Everybody got away clean so far.
Yes, they will be going very slowly now, because as we have been talking about, tires are very sensitive. They are not going to risk damaging them at all. So as happened in real life, they are going to do a smooth lap now. It's a recon lap, a proper recon lap, not a warm-up lap, because the tires start already at the proper temperature. But here they are snaking their way through the first S's.
And in the meantime, let's just quickly look at the grid. Now, we have Jason Whited on pole in the McLaren MP4-6. Ray Riddell, Indy Williams in second place. Third place is David Jakes. Fourth place, Brian Janik. Fifth place, David Saber in the Ferrari. Sixth place, Adam Hackman. Seventh place is Grant Riddell in the LaRousse. Eighth place, Victor Alcocer in the Tyrrell. Ninth place, Gabriel Del Piccolo in the Brabham. 10th place, Bruno Chacon in the Williams. 11th is Richard Wilkes in the Leighton House. 12th is Mick Chapman in the other McLaren Honda MP4-6. 13th is Dave Miller in the Modena. 14th, Raul Jarab in the Jordan. 15th, Jan Kowalski in the Benetton. 16th, Mike Olsen first started ISO in the Ligier with the Lamborghini V12. 17th, his teammate Jason Fitch, the other Ligier. 18th, and he actually is spinning right now, that's Gianluca Desposito. Spinning on the warm-up lap. What's happened there? 19th is Gerard Rion, and I think the cars are somewhat out of order, but... And last but not least, it's second to last, it's Jonathan Asserkolov in the Coloni. And last but not least, David Yund rounding out the field in the Minardi. So, Jason Whited, the leader, is now coming up to the grid. And he's gonna have to wait.
The cars that spawn there.
He's gonna have to wait a little bit.
Car, the smoking? Ah, but that's because it's David Sabre who is warming up the rear tires. Well, that's what we were talking about. I mean, cars heat up the tires very differently, so maybe some cars need some more speed in this warm-up lap, others don't. The back of the grid,
there's someone coming into the pits. There's Ligia in the pits.
I'm not sure why. Maybe he was too slow and lost his position, so he will have to start from the pits.
Okay, now. Red lights. When they go out, it's green. And away we go. Jason Whited has a pretty messy start, and there's a Williams in the front. That is, Ray Riddell has taken the lead. turn 1.
And David Jax went down as if he had a parachute on the car because probably missed a gear. But everybody on the grid went by very quickly.
And Raul Jareb is off.
Settle on a position.
Raul Jareb is off in the first corner and he has retired from the race already.
Whoa.
That was quite a start there.
So Mike Olsen, not sure why.
Mike Olsen has retired, Raul Jareb has retired, and Gianluca Desposito is basically now the last running car. And there's smoke. I think David Saber is now in 18th. Oh, David Saber he's got some problems with the tires. I think he's got a front right puncture. David Saber has a front right puncture.
That's really, really bad luck. He will have to enter to the pits to change the tires.
That is very bad luck indeed. Oh, he's locking it up under braking there very, very much.
Yep.
Let's take
so at the front now is Ray Riddle, followed by his son Grant. Then next up is Brian Janik, Gabriele Del Piccolo, who made a beautiful start, and then it's Jason Whitehead, who has fallen to the 5th position in his start.
Jason Whitehead indeed has fallen back to 5th place.
But he's now coming to Gabriele, Jason Whitehead, and trying to get that position back and go quickly to the top of the grid before they let him too far behind. Because he knows he could lose the rhythm that the people in the front have. Now he's passing Gabriele on the inside. Yeah, that worked. Gabriele is not going to make it hard for Jason, knowing that he has a much quicker car.
Yes.
But let's see now if Jason has to push too much on the tires to get to the front. His car is already moving a lot. Remember that the cars do have on board all the fuel that they will be needing for the whole race. Therefore, they are very, very heavy right now.
So let's take a quick look back to the start, I think. Let's take a look to the start.
David Sabers on the pits.
Yes.
And I think he has quit also, but game doesn't indicate it yet, but he's in the pit box.
Okay, so just rewinding real quick to take another look at the start of the race. And as I said, Jason Whitehead has lost out a whole lot on the start. We see it again. As the lights go out, as lights go to green, Jason Whitehead has a lot of wheel spin. And also, David Jakes, he must have missed a gear there because he fell back a long way as well. And Raul Jareb actually lost his front wing on the Tyrrell of Victor Alcocer. Alcocer has also lost a gear, and Raul just had nowhere to go and hit him there. Very unfortunate.
So on track, the battle is now between David Jax and Jan Kowalski, who are fighting for the 8th position. Jax lost, as we said, a lot of positions in the start, but is now trying to get them back. So Kowalski is certainly a very quick driver, and whoa, Nick Chapman nearly rammed there David Jax coming into the chicane. They are all a bit stuck behind Adam Hackman's Ferrari, who is taking it easy, conserving the tires. I think that the people behind him are way more aggressive right now because they want to get a better position, while Adam is certainly trying to hold a steady rhythm.
Yes, and Chacon also had a look on the inside there in turn 1, and that's
Kowalski there.
That's Kowalski having quite a... And there's yellow flag. Someone's lost their front wing.
Ah, that's Mike Olson, isn't it?
And Ray Riddle is in the gravel. Can he keep the engine running? He keeps the engine running, but his front left... Oh, he's got some flat tires there. Oh boy. Ray Riddle is in the gravel trap and is fighting to keep the car running. Is he going to be able to make it back to the pits? Let's see how much damage he has.
Jax is also in the gravel now.
Oh!
Coming out on dirty tires. Richard Wilkes behind him now.
Oh, Ray Riddle is... I'm looking at Ray right now, and he's... It looks like both his front tires are done, so he's just I think
Car seems unable to turn around and come back to the track. I think he's going too quick for that. He should be going slower.
he's just in the gravel now. He can't turn at all. And David Yunt is going to the pits. With the front right puncture as well. So the tires are already catching people out. David Yunt is now in the pits. And in the meantime, we totally lost track of who's leading the race.
Been able to get back to the track. He was going too quick in the gravel trap, but now he's back on track. And as soon as his tires clean up, and whoa.
Well, Jason Whited has actually
understeering. He should be going way slower than that. No, he's going to hit the wall. Lost the wing. Oh. I think this is
the end for Ray Radal on red number 5. Ay.
Coming out of the pit. Probably had also some kind of and with all this mayhem, meanwhile, it seems that Jason Whited has been able to climb back to the second position.
Yeah, he's chasing Grant Radal now. It's Honda V12 versus Ford V8, and at the moment the LaRousse is still in front, but I wonder for how long.
So it's the top 3 that are close now together. Grant Ridal, Jason Whited and Brian Janik.
So let's see. Going into Spoon, Grant is a little bit loose in there. But now Jason... Nah, they both had the same sort of exit, but Jason's got more power under his feet, and he goes past into the lead. Jason Whited leads the Japanese Grand Prix. Grant Radal is following closely through 130R. Oh, and he got really loose there. And there's also Gabriel Del Piccolo in the Brabham fighting off Bruno Chacon's Williams. Going through the chicane, and Jason White is just set the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 46.768.
Kowalski and David Jacks are back again together in the track, even if David Jacks had an out-track excursion.
Going side by side there, and Kowalski has made it stick into turn 1. So out of 21 starters, we're in lap 4. 17 cars are still running. So there has been quite some mayhem in the first few laps, but things should start to calm down.
Not yet adapted to these tires, and they are trying to be probably way too aggressive here, diving for position and all that. Whereas you wouldn't really go racing so early on.
Oh, Jan Kowalski's off the track. He's hit the wall in the Degner curve. Oh, and he's out of the race. He's out of it. He's done. So that must have been some suspension damage he suffered there.
We're only 5 laps into this race. The casualties are already taking over.
Yeah, insane. And now there's Bruno Chacon overtaking Gabriel Del Piccolo ahead of 130R. Amazing move. And Jason Whited is pulling away from Grant Radal, putting down fastest lap after fastest lap. And as we see Mick Chapman crossing the start-finish line, and Victor Acosta being chased by David Yoon. David Yunt, however, he's a lap down.
Yes, he is. He's trying to unlap himself. He had to enter the pits, and I'm not really sure why, but he joined this race last moment and probably didn't even have the proper setup.
As far as I saw, he had some tire trouble. So basically, the first 3-4 laps was half the field having a puncture.
Yeah.
But I suppose that is just a little taste for what's to come next year, as the 1991 Formula 1 World Championship is on the ISO calendar for 2020.
Jason Whited already 5 seconds in front. But like we said, this is not over by any stretch of the imagination, because we don't know what kind of tires does Jason Whited have, and when he goes into the pits to change them or whatever, so anything can happen. I mean, maybe he's on a very soft tire and he's going to pay dearly for that later in the race.
Yeah, that's a possibility as well. It might just be that that's also a variable that you have to consider by now with those tires. It's tactical pit stops. So you might want to start out on a softer tire, get a head start basically, and then pit on lap 25 or something. So that's something we have to take into account as well. What tire strategies are the drivers on? Because as far as it looks right now, Grant Riddall, either he's struggling a little bit with his car, or he's just on a slower tire than Jason Whited.
Maybe I have the feeling that Jason has put the very soft tires with the idea of doing several pit stops, even if he has to do more pit stops than the rest. But he probably realizes that he can open enough of a gap with that. Meanwhile, behind them is Gabriele Piccolo, followed by Adam Hackman, who suddenly has seen David Jacks appear in his mirror. David Jacks free now of his fight with Kowalski, has been quickly improving his rhythm, and is now right behind Adam Hackman.
Yes, so let's take a look at the onboard camera of David Jacks' LaRousse LC91 as he follows the Brabham and the Ferrari through the chicane and gets the power down very smoothly out of the chicane. So a 3-man fight for 5th place right now between Del Piccolo, Hackman and Jakes. And Hackman goes wide in turn 1. Jakes got 6th place. So yeah, David Jakes, I mean, what grid position was he in again? I think he was pretty much 4th or 5th or something. Now he's back in 6th place. He had a pretty troubled start, I saw. He missed, I think, a gear. He missed a shift or two. So yeah, that was quite a mess at the start.
He went down like a stone in the start of the race.
And now he gets past Gabriele Del Piccolo to the hairpin, locks up a front left tire, so hopefully there's no big flat spot there, but he went past the Brabham. And Mick Chapman is chasing Richard Wilkes, so that is McLaren versus Leighton House. And behind Chapman there's Victor Alcosa in the Tyrrell, and another 18 seconds behind him there's Dave Miller in the Modena. So basically the field has strung out quite a bit by now, and we're only in lap 8 of 53. But as Alberto and I have already told you, dear race fans, there's tire strategies at work, and we don't know anything right now. Might be that we see any one of the drivers in for a regular pit stop any time now. and Mick Chapman is catching Richard Wilkes. So that's the battle that is brewing up, Alberto. Mick Chapman just caught up.
Something that also happens because of the tires, because as the cars get lighter on the fuel load and as the tires start the degradation, we will also see that the tires have different the cars have different attitudes here. So some cars will be quicker towards the end of the stint and others are very quick at the beginning. So
Yes,
you are completely out of sync always with the cars in front and behind. And in this case, yeah, he's catching up.
Indeed. He caught up by 2 seconds. We got a yellow in the hairpin there. Yellow flag waving. And someone went off. I didn't see who went off.
Gianluca Esposito.
Gianluca Esposito went off in the hairpin there.
Yeah, he seems to have hit
he seems to be... He can't find his reverse gear.
But he's in the gravel trap. Means that the car is unable to move.
He's in first. He can't find his reverse gear, it seems. He can't find his reverse gear, apparently. So...
Meanwhile, Adam Hackman continues working on Gabriele Del Piccolo.
And there's Jonathan Asserclant. He goes off in the S's and he's out of this race. Oh my goodness, what a scary moment there. So what happened there? He was in 13th place.
Went past Richard Wilkes.
Oh, Jonathan Asserclant. We see it on the replay right now. He goes off in turn 2 and hits the tire barrier there with some damage, and then just finally loses it and goes into the wall. Very unfortunate, Jonathan Asserclant, and he's in the booth with us now. Hey, Jonathan.
Evening, fellas.
Very unfortunate there. Can you talk us through what happened there?
Well, essentially I'm way too tired to run. I just thought I'd give it a go and see how the car is. Yeah, ran a little bit too hot into turn 1, I think like 4 laps in a row. Finally the tires were a bit too hot and I lost it. Hit the right rear and the barriers there, got up to the top of the S's and yeah, just felt that the car just wouldn't take it, so sort of made a mistake and that's it.
That was very unfortunate. Also very scary moment there because just caught up on it, and that was you in the wall. So yeah.
I knew the car would go there at some point. I just didn't know when. the damage made it happen earlier than it should have. That was by far the worst corner for the Cologne. It was really a handful through that all the way through practice as well.
Oh, very unfortunate, Jonathan, but you know, at least one good thing in sim racing is you can't get hurt. I think if we were in those cars really for real now, you would have probably got a bruised ankle or something, because that one looked...
What tires did you put, Jonathan, for the race?
I was running mediums. Honestly, I don't think it was that they were just hot. I think it was just outside the group, to be perfectly honest. I ended up just a little bit wide, tried to put just a tad bit of power on, and the rear swapped on me. And I tried to hold it on the throttle, but just couldn't quite hold it. And when I went to the grass, the barrier were very close by. But I did notice I had a couple of spins quite early on. I had one full spin and one half spin, and the tires were quite a handful for a couple of laps before they cooled down. So really difficult to drive these cars on the limit, but quite a bit of fun.
Indeed, but yeah, you think you would have gotten for a irregular tire stop if you had made it to the halfway point?
No, I would have stayed on the mediums for the whole race if I made it to halfway.
Well, anyway, good effort. Too bad it ended up in the tire wall there, Jonathan, but no, as I wanted to say, you're not physically hurt, it's just a few pixels in the end.
Indeed. I wish you all a good evening anyway. I need to get some sleep. I think I've slept probably 6 hours in 2 days, so just way too little. So I wish you all good night and best of luck with the rest of the race, and I hope it's a good bit of fun to watch.
Thank you very much, Jonathan, and you,
Thank you.
go get some sleep, sir.
Yes, will do.
Alright, race fans, while we were talking to Jonathan, I just noticed Bruno Chacon is out of the race. I'll quickly check the replay. Did you see anything, Alberto?
I just noticed it. I'm checking the replay right now, trying to see what happened. In a moment. Oh, he understeered in the SS. No, he lost the rear in the SS.
Oh,
and then the
yeah.
car went into the barriers, hit hard, and well, that was it. It's very unfortunate because Bruno is a real regular. He's the one that you expect always to be there at the finish.
It looks like he hit the inside curb there. Let's just rewind a little bit again.
Probably so, yes.
And slow motion, he hit the inside curb with the front left and the rear left a little bit, and that upset the car, and then he went into the wall. Ah, too bad. And that really damages rear left suspension lethally. So he's out of the race. Very sad, but happens. Also, Gianluca Desposito, the driver who spun out at the chicane, he's also out of the race. So either his engine gave up or he just quit.
I'm looking at the lap times from Jason Whited, and he's doing very steady 1:47. So it seems that everything is full in control for him, and the tires are not degrading.
That's very
Probably he is trying to go for the half distance at least with those tires.
Indeed. So maybe he's on a one-stop. Or as Jonathan said, he had medium compound tires on and he would have gotten through. He would have gone through. And oh, Mick Chapman chasing the Brabham in front of him. Just went off a little, but he's back on track, so all he did was lose a little bit of time. But yeah, maybe Jason White is going for a one-stopper. Who knows? He might, first race with these new tires and already some tactics at play. Would actually, honestly, in my opinion, would be amazing to see. Oh, Mick Chap. Mick.
Yes, he's trying to push it too much to get back to Gabriele Del Piccolo, and he should instead set on a rhythm. Just with these cars and with these tires, I think that people have to adapt to the new tire situation with these cars, because you are now on a full tank, and it's only towards the end of the race when the car is light when you can really push it hard, and when you will have probably the tires that you need. I mean, probably one of the strategies would be to start with harder ones, and then once the car is light, you go to mediums or softs, depending on the part of the race that you have already covered, and are on a lighter tank, and then you can probably push the car way more and start fighting more for positions.
Yeah, something like what would come to my mind right now is just getting towards the last 25% of the race, going on super soft tires and laying down times. That would be something, Chapman, Mick, he's currently stuck behind Gabriele Del Piccolo. If those two are on somewhat the same set of tires, and they have about, well, given the lap times it looks like, as they go past Alicia there, Mick is a little bit faster than Gabriele, but he's got trouble, or he's struggling to get past him, or close enough. So one might think that he would go for a stop, put on fresh tires, fresh rubber, and then go on attack, maybe.
Chapman now getting close. Certainly the McLaren is quicker, but if you start pushing it like that, then it's very easy that you make an error. I also think there will be aerodynamic effects at play when you are behind another car. And in this very fast track with long sweeping fast corners, it should be very dangerous if you are too close to the car in front.
Yeah, and he has a look on the outside of the chicane there. He did get the better exit out of the spoon curve, but didn't quite get past. Gotta remember that's a Yamaha 12-cylinder engine there.
Unless he really thinks that he can go much quicker on a better rhythm.
Yeah. Oh, he gets very close there.
Yeah, but these S's here are not exactly the best place to overtake. Cars are sweeping fast left to right.
Oh yeah, he just lost it there.
Obviously, I mean, with the change of direction, it was going to be very hard here.
But he's sticking to the diffuser of Del Piccolo's Brabham, and he's now making his way past. They're side by side.
Yeah, and this long sweeping one, but not yet.
Not yet, but maybe towards the hairpin.
The chances are in a quicker section.
Yeah. Since
braking here for the hairpin.
Oh, very close. Well, since when you're in the twisty bits, you also lose some downforce if you're following another car. You know, nowadays dirty air is a common term, but even in the 90s, like 1991, anything with wings, there's some disturbance, and you can see Mick struggling just a little bit to stay on the racing line while he's right behind Gabriele Del Piccolo. Now going back towards 130R, Mick has got the pole and he's going beside him, and into 130R he takes him in 5th place. Mick Chapman is in 5th place, and Gabriele Del Piccolo went a little bit off track there.
Yeah, but let's see how long does Mick Chapman's look like keep, because obviously he's pushing the car harder, and we see what happens with his tires in some laps.
He does have some breathing room as of now at the moment, since Gabriele Del Piccolo out of the chicane he missed some shifts, and more than that he missed out on some sweet torque, so he's now about 2 seconds behind Mick Chapman again.
Oh, Jason Fitches with a front wing and Deligier. Lightly heading for the pits now.
Oh indeed, he must have hit the wall or something. So Jason Fitch is now into the pits.
Dave Miller seems to have also quit, because I see his car in the pit box, the garage.
He is out of the race indeed. So it's Jason Fitch in the pits now, getting a new front wing. And oh, Mick Chapman, he is spun entering spoon corner there. He's still pushing it hard. And Gabriele Del Piccolo is back on his tail there. And now Del Piccolo, he is in Mick Chapman's draft, so he's taking him outside of 130R. Did not quite make it there. Oi, oi, oi. Having a look into the chicane, locking up big time. Oh, they are wheel to wheel, and well, Del Piccolo actually made it past. He actually made it past Mick Chapman there. That was quite a hairy move.
Yeah, like I said.
And there's a cone on the racetrack.
If you overtake, you have to keep your concentration, and Mick had been probably pushing too much his tires to get in front, and on greasy, very heated tires. Now look what happens here. Probably again overheated, and when he pushes the throttle, the rear spins out.
Yeah, so let's just ride with Mick Chapman for a little.
The right strategy. I mean, he should be keeping the temperatures checked. But then again, it could be that the tires that he has on the McLaren require that you go quicker for them to be in the temperature range. So maybe he's just trying to overtake Gabriele out of necessity, because if he's behind on a slower rhythm, maybe his tires simply don't work well at all. This is a situation we've talked about previously with the tires. They have a small operating temperature window, and you better be in that window, because otherwise you're not going to be as quick as you want, and maybe probably even have problems with the car.
Indeed. So let's see what happens now with Mick. He loses it again at the same place, just one lap later. Oh, it seems like the entry to Spoon Curve is his nemesis. Very unfortunate. But now Gabriel Del Piccolo has got some breathing room. And Jason Whited in the lead still. He's not lost the lead at all, I think. He's been leading every single lap up until now. And his advantage over Grant Radal is 18 seconds. Grant Radal 6 seconds ahead of Brian Janik, who is in 3rd place. 4th place David Jakes, who's only 3 seconds behind Brian Janik. 5th place, as we already mentioned, Gabriel Del Piccolo. In 6th place, still pushing hard, Mick Chapman. 7th place, who's now catching up to those two who've been fighting for the last 4 or 5 laps. That's Adam Hackman in the sole remaining Ferrari. And 8th place, also catching up to the pack, is Richard Wilkes in the Leighton House. So that's...
Well, Wilkes has developed more than he knows very well what you have to do. I mean, he's going on a very steady rhythm, he's going smoothly there, trying not to make any errors, and it wouldn't surprise me much if by the end of the race he's much higher than you would think at first.
So now this is developing into some sort of 4-man or even 5-man fight. Oh, 4-man fight, sorry. But Richard Wilkes, he can't quite catch up to Adam Hackman there on the straight. Simply because, well, Hackman, he's in a Ferrari, and Ferrari's got the V12, and that thing's got some grunt. So, but Adam Hackman, he's not quite able to catch up to Mick Chapman either. Well, not really surprising, since the McLaren's got the Honda V12 there, and Mick Chapman locks up big time there following Gabriel Del Piccolo.
Yeah, he should be careful there, because if he damages the tire, it's going to cause him lots of trouble.
Indeed.
There he is again.
Very, very
I
close.
think that Gabriele, I mean, maybe Gabriele is having some fun with all this also, but in the end, I think that he will also be somehow having that uneasy feeling that this all could end bad, and they are not really in a need to be fighting like this in lap 19.
Indeed. So let's see the backwards facing camera on Gabriel Del Piccolo's Brabham, and all he sees in his rearview mirrors is that red and white McLaren. Oh man.
So with everything that has happened so far, probably Gabriele is also already...
Oh, close.
Gabriele is already probably confident that even if Chapman can overtake him, he's likely to make an error or suffer too much for having destroyed the tires.
Indeed. Oh, and Mix loses it again almost. No, he now he loses it. Incredible.
Now it could be dangerous, because with those lights the tires will probably be completely overcooked.
Probably.
Wilkes meanwhile is already quite close behind Adam Hackman.
Only 7/10 there.
Yeah, Wilkes has been lapping like a clock in around the 150 mark.
Oh, and Adam Hackman, he misses the chicane and he's stuck in the... Oh, he's in the gravel. Oh. No, actually he let Richard through. Very sportsmanlike, but now he's got Jason Fitch in his rearview mirror, even though he's not actually fighting Jason Fitch. Fitch is 2 laps down.
No, Fitch is two laps behind. Probably he entered the pits for repairs. We're approaching half the race, and Jason Whited is still on the same rhythm, so...
Indeed. However, actually, well, looking at the gap between him and Grant, it looks like Grant is catching up just a little bit, like a 10th per lap or so. So Jason's...
Whited has been going quicker because he has done the last 2 laps in 46, so it doesn't seem that his tires are damaged at all.
Indeed, but well, at least Jason's not pulling that much of a gap out of Grant now. So the gap between those two is consistent.
Interesting that all the people on top, from Gabriele Del Piccolo, well, not Gabriele, but David Jacks and Brian Janik, Grant Riddle, and Jason Whited, they are all doing very similar lap times, hovering around the 147s. So, I mean, this is a gap that has opened between them in the first laps, but isn't really telling of the rhythm that they have in the race. It's just that the cars, like we said, work differently depending on the part of the stint they are in. So we could be them closing up in some laps.
Indeed, and there's David Jakes. He's now right behind Brian Janik. So let's see how that turns out. He's very, very close into the hairpin. Let's see who gets the better exit. It's David Jakes, I think, but he's now in the draft of Brian Janik. Let's see what happens. They're going towards Spoon through 200R.
And it's one interesting thing we're seeing, and that will hopefully give us very interesting broadcasts in the next year, is that because of the difference of how the car works, the different tire strategies and type of equipment that they have, we see lots of passing in maneuvers in the race. In other races where there is more parity, like in the kart, for example, races in the road courses, we have seen that people settle on a rhythm and maybe open a gap, and then they spread around the field and there's not so much action. But here we can see that people are going up and down like a yo-yo, depending on the situation on the tires or if they have overcooked them.
So now, well, it looks like David Jakes, as there is a turtle coming out of the pits. So that was Victor Alcosa coming out of the pits.
Now David Jakes behind Brian Janik, looking for a way to pass, but that Benetton is a really quick car, so it won't be easy at all.
Yes. So now those two are going at it. Let's see. There's Grant Riddle coming through Spoon. And there's Brian Janik, followed by David Jakes. And David Jakes, he's in the draft of Brian Janik, but looks like he can't get that much closer. Especially through 130R there and into the chicane. Oh, very close. David, he comes closer through on the braking, but now he also got the power down better. Let's see what happens. But Brian Janik, he doesn't make like mistakes. He doesn't get himself pressured into making mistakes, so that's also very, very good for the racing here. And as they follow each other through the S's, out of the S's towards Degner curve.
David's probably trying to wait more for an error than to really make a risky maneuver, putting the car in a situation where anything bad could happen to both of them. So he's really close there to Brian Janik, so if Brian makes an error and spins around, it could be very easy that David collects him. You need lots of confidence and trust in the other driver to be driving so close.
Especially one thing we have to look at now is that they're coming up on Gerarion, they're coming up on the lapped car, so that might shake things up a little bit, and there's a huge crash! Huge crash between Brian Janik and Gerarion. Oh, this is what we have been fearing.
Completely the gaping speed with Gerarion.
Oh!
He tried to use the slipstream to use the slipstream, but
and I don't think they can repair that at the pits. So Brian Janik's out of the race. Same as Ferrario. Oh my goodness, that was... what a scary moment. Let's take a look at that in the replay.
Brian has entered the pits, but
they can't repair that.
Yeah, the car is hopeless.
The complete front right corner is missing. So let's look at that. He's pulling himself into the slipstream, and he just pulls out way too late. He pulls out, no, not way too late, just a little bit too late, and almost gets airborne.
Yeah, he missed.
Scary.
That's the problem. I mean, he missed the ratio of the closing speed. I'm really sorry for Gerard because he was there trying to get out of the way and make room, but it all went wrong.
Oh, if Brian had been just a little bit faster, he might have gotten completely airborne. And there's the wrecked Brabham of Gerard. Mick is in the pits now, so, and Adam Hackman spins in turn 1, and Mick is now out of the pits. He's now in pit road, coming out of the pits. Events are happening left, right, and center. Adam Hackman has just recovered back onto the circuit. Mick Chapman is now exiting the pit lane, back onto the track. Brian Janik's out of the race. That means Victor Alcocer, who is by now 54 seconds behind Mick Chapman, he's gonna take 8th place. So, David Jakes is now in the pits as well. He is coming in for a regular pit stop, so he's changing tires. Car goes up, tires go up, tires go on. The car goes down, and he's back on the way. So there we have a regular pit stop of David Jakes.
Exactly close to half race, not half race but close. And he has decided to enter now for the pits and get those fresh tires, and let's see what the rest does. Chapman already changed his own tires, and we're still waiting to see what the leader does, but he obviously seems able to go the full distance like this. So I expect him to enter at half race and be able to keep this rhythm also for the rest of the race, and well, in that case he will be completely untouchable.
So by now Adam Hackman is a lap down. He just got lapped by Jason Whited, and that means everybody up to including 6th place is now 1 lap down at least, and no one is 2 laps down since David Yunt is the last car running. We started with 21 cars, and we're now on lap 25 or 26. We're now on lap 26. The leader, Jason Whited, is in lap 26. And out of 21 starters, we have, I think, we have 9 cars running. Imagine, incredible. More than half the field is out at half distance. if this keeps happening, we have like 2 or 3 finishers.
I don't think we will see that many more abandonments, but it's probably that people are not yet completely familiar with the tires and how they work and when and how to push the car. But the guys on top here, they have become well accounted to the car, and you can see Jason Whited is flying with that car. He obviously got his mojo with it, and so does Grant and David Jacks and Gabriele.
Indeed. So now let's see. Basically half of the running field has done a pit stop now, so let's see what the other half is doing. And at the moment looks like Jason Whited is pretty comfortable out in front. He's really consistent on lap times there as well, going through 130R as we speak, and heading for the chicane. Oh, Grant Riddall seems to have a little bit of an off moment there, so he just lost some time against Jason. Being followed by Mick Chapman, however Mick is a lap down. So I think Grant just lapped Mick and they had a little bit of a moment there. But neither car got any damage, so that's fine. And the closest battle on track actually right now, despite all the events that have been unfolding just 5 minutes ago, just under 3 seconds now. Wow, that was a beautiful shot right there, I must say, from the helicopter.
I should say that when we ran this race in 2017 in HSO, out of 29 starters, well, actually
26, I would say.
26 that were allowed to start, only 10 finished the race. So it's not as if this is a 2 different finish ratio.
Indeed. Well, as I was just about to finish this thought here. My goodness, that was a beautiful shot there from the helicopter, just showing the overpass there. So as I said like 3 times by now, as David Jakes has just put down a new fastest lap of the race, so he's putting down times, he's got fresh tires. As I just said, the Suzuka International Racing Course, or Kansai Classic as we're running it right now, is the only race in the calendar with a figure 8 configuration, basically. And, you know, that's quite remarkable. Richard Wilkes is now in the pits, and he is stopped.
Yeah, the pit stop. It's almost dead on half of the race.
And about 7 seconds for Richard Wilkes.
I'm interested in asking him later what strategy he has with the tires, because obviously this is half race and you would expect that what you have done so far you could do the same now with the same tires, but the truth is that the fuel load is quite different now. Now you only wouldn't have half a tank, whereas previously you had a full tank, so you should theoretically be able to use tires that are softer.
Indeed. Now got I don't know who might just want to come in for tires still. Grant Riddall is now in the pits. He has done a pit stop. So that just... yeah, Grant Riddall has now made a pit stop. That means Jason Whited is comfortably leading by almost a minute now. So Jason Whited might just go...
And he hasn't stopped yet, right?
No, he hasn't. He has not stopped yet. And if he gets his fastest lap back from David Jakes, he might just go for a Grand Slam in this race. Because he got pole position, he's so far
1:45. I mean, the quickest lap so far, so it doesn't seem that his tires have suffered at all in this situation.
It looks like
there
that.
Are sometimes tires that go very quick until the end, and then suddenly you're falling off a cliff in terms of grip.
So his best time is 1:45.981. As I said, if Jason Whitehead gets the fastest lap of the race overall by the end of the race, he's got a Grand Slam.
Is also exiting the pits now with fresh tires.
Yes.
Adam Hackman is entering the pits instead. Oh, for his pit stop.
So Adam Hackman is now in the pits. So we watch him.
Passed by Mick Chapman.
And he stops.
Oh, Mick Chapman. Oh no.
It's Mick.
Oh no, Mick Chapman. I mean, probably on cold tires or something like that.
Oh, Mick Chapman lost it there.
Just went out straight there. Hit the wall badly.
7.8 seconds for Adam Hackman in the Ferrari. Quite a good pit stop there for 4 tires. And he now just got passed by Victor Alcosa, who himself is getting a blue flag.
And I think the leader is going for the pits next time by. Because I can see the icon there. Flashing. Pit crew preparing.
Probably. So let's look at that. Jason Whitehead in the red and white McLaren MP4-6. Going through 130R, let's see what he does. Is he gonna enter the pits or not? We're in lap 29 out of 53. Would make sense for him to pit now. He's got almost a minute a gap between himself and second place. And he's going into the pits. Jason Whitehead is going into the pits for his probably only pit stop. And he stops.
Grant Vidal is 40 seconds behind. And well, that was quick.
Okay. 7.1 seconds for Jason Whitehead on this pit stop.
Coming slowly there because the pit stop is so slow. And Grant is 20 seconds behind.
He's now going through 130R. And Jason Whitehead has exited the pits, so he's comfortably in the lead still. And the gap is just about the same as we had before Grant went into the pits, so about 20 seconds. And now Jason Whitehead has got fresher tires, Alberto, so he might just go for a fastest lap. And as I meant to say, if he gets the fastest lap and keeps it until the end of the race, that's a Grand Slam. Pole position, every single lap of the race led, plus fastest lap.
In the gravel now.
Oh, good lord. But he made it back on the track. And David Jakes has put down the fastest lap of the race.
The laps in concentration.
David Jakes is putting down the times. He's got another fastest lap of the race. But let's see what Jason Whitehead is doing. He's now on his out lap. He's pushing hard. He just locked up a tire there. And Grant Radal is pushing equally hard. And basically, right, it's a double podium for LaRousse as it stands now. Adam Hackman is currently 7th in the Ferrari, and he is going towards Spoon as we speak right now. I think he's got one of the highest top speed of any running car still, 292 kilometers an hour at the entry of 130R. And Grant Radal has just put down the fastest lap of the race, 145.354.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. He has decided to go racing now. And only 14 seconds behind Jason Whitehead at the moment, so that's got like, he has cut the difference, the distance between both of them to, well, in 3 or 4 seconds in these last laps.
Indeed. So there's Grant.
if I look at the lap times, does Whitehead, for whatever reason, Whitehead hasn't been too quick in his out lap. I mean, there is obviously a very slow lap when he pit, but the next lap out was 1.55. So either he had...
Oh, he just went wide.
And he has another right now.
Who knows? Maybe he's just
wrong for him here. But he has been quite slow, and that's the explanation why Grant has been able to close.
I would expect him to be at least on the same compound that he started the race with, maybe even softer compound. So I don't... Seeing how he's got slower lap times now.
The quickest lap as we have seen. So that's the explanation.
And now...
Let's see what happens with Jason Whitehead now.
Yeah, he's caught up to Richard Wilkes now. He's going to put a lap on the Leighton House driver. So... Let's see. But yeah, no, Jason Whitehead just put up his personal best of 1:45.941. So, but if he wants to get the fastest lap of the race back, he needs 6 or 7 tenths of a second. And he goes past Richard Wilkes, who makes space for him. The distance is now only 14 seconds instead of 18 when he came out of the pits. So, Ray Radal is catching up. Well, only 7 seconds behind Ray Radal's David Jakes. So, we might see a 3-way battle for the win if this keeps up like that. We might see a LaRousse
really
1-2 maybe.
To see the lap times from Jason Whitehead next time by, to see what, well, he did 1:45, which is the same pace as Grant did, but it remains to be seen if he can keep that rhythm.
So, let's see. Jason Whitehead now coming through the chicane.
So 1:46 this time. Seems a bit more irregular than he was previously. Not sure what the reason is, but probably, like we said, when the car has less fuel and the setup works in a different way.
The difference between Grant and Jason.
That's what he's feeling right now. Probably he's not yet comfortable to really push the car.
And David Jakes has put the fastest lap 1:45.1. We're going towards the 1:44s, people. And the difference at the start-finish line between Jason Whitehead and Grant Radal, I just measured that myself here, 14.1 seconds. So let's see what it is next time around. So, and now it looks like, oh, where's Grant? Oh, Grant is out of the race. Grant Radal is out of the race. I cannot believe it. I just saw him stranded with a stalled engine under the bridge. I wonder what happened. Let's look at the replay. He's going fine through the S's. Going towards Degna. Oh, what happened there?
A disc?
His engine blew. His engine blew.
Oh my god.
His engine just quit on him. Oh my goodness. It's the first engine failure we've seen so far. It was just... It's gonna rewind real quick and you could... can listen to it. Entering Degna. Entering the Degna curve, his engine just loses power. Unbelievable. My goodness. That's Grant Radal out of this race. The Ford V8 unfortunately did not survive this race. So that means now Jason Whited has a 21-second lead over David Jakes, and third place is Gabriel Del Piccolo in the Brabham. Unbelievable. Fourth place.
So now it's in fourth position.
Fourth place is Richard Wilkes. Fifth place will be Victor Alcocer, and sixth place, the final points paying position, is gonna go to Adam Hackman in the Ferrari. So we have 7 cars still running with it's a third of the field still running with 20 laps to go. Unbelievable. And there goes Jason Whited through the chicane to finish another lap. We're gonna... Oh! It's 19 laps to go, and Jason White's lap time right now is a 1 minute and 44.97. He's got the fastest lap back. So he was probably just going a few laps a little bit slower to just to give his tires some rest and then push. Oh, that's great. That's some tactics right there. I love that. David Jakes puts up a 145.384. And Gabriel Del Piccolo is... It looks like... I might just be a little bit off, but it looks like it to me from the distance. My goodness, it might be that Jason Whited is going to come up to lap Gabriel Del Piccolo at any point soon. So he's going to have everybody up to and including third placed Gabriel Del Piccolo in the Brabham 1 lap down. Incredible.
What happened to Victor Alcocer?
Oh, Alcocer is out of the race as well. Let's see, let's rewind real quick. Jump on board with him and listen. His engine failed as well. Oh, good lord. Good lord, that's a Honda V10 gone. His engine failed there. Oh, good lord. And Jason Whited puts up another fast lap of the race. So that means we have 6 cars running. That means everybody gets points. Even though it's not really a points paying race, but it's actually last man standing, so we might.
That was the whole purpose of this race. This is just a test race for the following season.
Yeah.
So that everybody gets familiar with the tires and with the strategy. And I'm betting that if we would run the same race next week, we would see a very different result, because people have obviously seen that the cars are, well, very peculiar and how the strategy comes out.
Oh, Jason Whited has a sideways.
To work for. I mean, you really have to put effort into this mod and take care of the car and treat it like something that you need lots of respect with the car, and you must focus on keeping a steady rhythm and finishing the races.
Indeed. And now, well, but okay, it's not really that big of an issue, but we've also had 2 engine failures by now. The other retirements mostly due to tires, but incredible. Now imagine how big of a bummer it would be for Jason Whited, who's now coming up to Gabriel Del Piccolo, I might add. We're coming up towards lap 37 now. Jason White is entering lap 37 with a 1 minute 45.55. So now what if, and hear me out, what if, and I don't want to jinx it, okay? Would be quite a bummer if Jason White's engine let go in one of the last laps. Like, he survives the tires, he survives the traffic, he survives the first lap mayhem just for his engine to let him go.
Well, one thing is for sure. Probably the only reason his engine would fail is if he is pushing it too hard. Because if he's short shifting it, then he shouldn't have any problems at all, and he doesn't really have any reason to push the car too much.
Indeed, yes. I mean, I saw Victor and Grant retire with engine failures, and the only thing that could really happen that could, while just normally driving, cause an engine failure if you over rev it. And, you know, it's just 2 or 3 clicks on the rev limiter in the garage and you're basically safe. So,
yep.
And I assume that Jason has been smart enough for his race setup to set his rev limiter a little bit lower in order to preserve the engine and make sure he wins this race. He's now coming up to Gabriel Del Piccolo. Gabriel Del Piccolo, I might also add, is 3rd place at the moment. So yeah. And Del Piccolo, very sportsmanlike, makes room. And that means Jason Whited has now lapped everybody except David Jakes. And he's not gonna lap David Jakes. Jakes is only 22 seconds behind, so it's not gonna happen, but basically I would say, oh, careful Jason. He basically just did a Senna. Lapped everybody except for 2nd place. Nice. Amazing. And we're not even at the end of the race. So yeah. I would say that already deserves a big round of applause, even though the race isn't even over yet. So yeah, well, Jason, he's very careful with his shifting, so going into spoon he lifts off early and doesn't heel toe that much. He only skips 1 gear instead of 2 when downshifting, so he knows how to preserve his power unit there. Same with David Jakes, careful there, just went over the curb but bottomed out a little bit. Oh, Del Piccolo, he's got problems with his key. Oh, there you go, he caught it. And that's what it sounds like if your gear doesn't catch, folks. Oh, that was painful.
At this point of the race, obviously, concentration is harder than ever. They have been racing 38 laps with lots of tension.
Well, it's really it's just a painful sound when the gear doesn't catch and your engine just it howls up to the rev limiter. That's painful. So, there's currently no big battle for position going on, which sort of makes sense. We have a almost 6 kilometer long racetrack and 6 cars running, so half a dozen cars running, so it's theoretically 1 car per kilometer. Haha. And we can also just look at the gaps, like the gap. David Yunt is 38 seconds behind Adam Heckman. Adam Heckman is 22 seconds behind Richard Wilkes. Richard Wilkes is currently 21 seconds behind Gabriel Del Piccolo. Del Piccolo, he is 1.5 minutes behind David Jakes, and David Jakes is 20 seconds behind race leader Jason Whited. And the list of cars that are...
This is a very big track, and there are few cars in the track, therefore it's logical that the gaps end up being so big.
Yes. And the cars currently out of the race. We have Raul Jareb, first corner accident unfortunately. He caught the back of someone who must have missed the shift. Mike Olsen also out in the first lap. I actually have no idea what happened to him. David Saber, who probably lost it in one of the corners. He's missing a front right suspension there. Ray Radal, who I think we saw spin out into the dirt. Jan Kowalski, he is out of the race. Gianluca Desposito, he spun in the chicane and he did not manage to find reverse, so he was basically stuck there. Very, very unfortunate. 15th is Jonathan Asserclinth. We spoke to him earlier, so he just lost it there coming out of the SS. Bruno Chacon, he spun in the SS and went into the wall. We saw that as well on the replay. Dave Miller also out of the race. Actually, I don't know what happened to him there. I think I might miss that one. Jason Fitch is out of the race as well. So both Ligiers out. Gerard Rion out. We saw that huge crash there going towards 130R. Very scary moment.
Yeah, and it seems that while he was trying to lift to make room in the straight, not sure where Brian was passing, he caught Brian completely unaware.
Yes. Well, that was really, really scary there. It reminded me of Australia. I think it was 2001. Jacques Villeneuve hitting who was it? Ralf Schumacher in Melbourne.
No, I thought you were but that one, the other one that I remembered that happened in Valencia, in the Valencia.
Oh yeah,
that was when the
Mark
Red
Webber.
Bull driver, Mark Webber, yes, shot into the air flying. That was really also very scary.
Very, very
because
scary.
It was also on a street circuit where there were lots of walls close by. Fortunately, it ended well, but...
Yes. Now, 10th place, also out of the race. Brian Janik, who was involved in that crash with Gerard Rion. Mick Chapman out of the race. So, I don't know what happened to him there. Did we catch that one? I'm not quite sure. Grant Radal out of the race with an engine failure. Victor Alcocer out of the race with an engine failure. And last car running, David Yund, as I said. And he's... Oh no, I misheard that one. Okay. Now, also running still Adam Hackman in 5th place with the Ferrari, 643. The late nows of Richard Wilkes is still running. So, even though Richard had a little bit of an off-track experience just a few minutes ago, he's back on track and he's still running. Gabriel Del Piccolo is set for a, as of now, pretty safe podium spot in the Brabham. David Jakes is runner-up to Jason Whited, David Jakes in a Larousse, and Jason Whited, as we know, in the McLaren. We're in lap 42 of 53. And the gap between Jason Whited and David Jakes has slimmed down. It was 25 seconds 5 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago, and now it's only 19 seconds. So Jason Whited has indeed let off the throttle just a little bit to preserve his tires, probably. And Jakes or David Jakes has started pushing. Who knows? But they're coming closer.
I was checking the lap times, and Whited has been doing steady 45s, whereas in the case of David Jakes, he has been pushing lately and has gone well into the 44s. So maybe it's a case, I don't know what tire each of them has mounted, but it could be that Jason has mounted a softer one and maybe did not consider that he would need to push it more. But anyways, I mean, with the gap that there is now and 11 laps to go, he shouldn't really have any problems to keep the lead.
Let's hope he keeps it until the flag. So now I wonder who's got the fastest lap of the race. Did David Jakes get the fastest lap of the race back, or is it still Jason Whited?
I'm not sure. I can't see that in so far.
But yeah, Jason White, he's going very careful through the chicane there. Immensely careful as to not do any damage to his tires. He's going over the start-finish line now, 145.1. Even though he's relaxed a little bit, he's still going very, very incredibly fast. So, 6 cars running this race. Jason White is now going towards Diagonal Curve as well, this double right-hander. And yeah, there's really, there's honestly not much to say now. The cars are very well spread out.
It's a matter of seeing if they will be able to keep the concentration and the rhythm till the end, because even if they are driving with lots of gap between each other, you're going really quick here, so any small slip of the concentration or thinking whatever, congratulating yourself already for your achievement before the checkered flag falls. Anything can mean immediately that you are out hitting a wall and ending there your race.
Indeed. So, as I don't know who exactly said it, to finish first, you first gotta finish.
Yep.
And there's Gabriel Del Piccolo coming through the chicane. And David Jakes, he's catching up to Jason White, and not by a lot every lap, but he's catching up. Can't deny that.
David Jones in the pits, as far as I can see.
Yes,
out now.
David Jones in the pits. Second pit stop or first pit stop?
Yeah, he's in the last position, so since he didn't have much to lose, I guess that he decided to put new tires so as to be more comfortable during the rest of the race. He's obviously a very calculating driver, and he knows well what to do to make himself his life more comfortable.
He hasn't really had any practice in this car anyway. He picked up the car from, I think the registered driver was Peter Warschel, and he picked up his car at the last second. No practice at all, and he's still running. So, also praise for him. I mean, he's basically our endurance expert, David Yund is, and he knows how to keep a car running.
Driver. I mean, the best thing you can say about him, besides obviously him being very quick if you give him the opportunity, but that he is probably one of the guys I know that gauges better what he can or cannot do with a car. So if he jumps into a car he doesn't know, he's careful enough to learn the car, to slowly push it and see what he can do or what not, and he can work around the bad setup, he can work around an ill-handling car, and he can always keep...
Oh, there's David... Oh my... David Jakes is out of the race! His engine throwing out plumes of smoke. That's David Jakes out.
No.
Another Ford V8 unit has let go, and David Jakes is coasting to a halt. Unbelievable.
He was pushing the car a lot. Probably he was trying to make Jason White feel a bit more nervous and also force him to push the car, but in the end it was his engine which let go.
Unbelievable.
So previously all the finishers would be getting points, now all the finishers will be top 5.
Indeed.
Let's see if we don't get a full podium for finishers.
That might be quite ambitious. Now let's see the replay. Oh no, he didn't even over rev it. He just coming out of spoon curve, he just It just let go and we can see the black smoke coming out of the exhaust. Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Ah, what a shame. David Jakes out of the race. And that means Gabriel Del Piccolo is second place. And that means Jason Whited has lapped the whole field. Can you believe that?
Wilkes is now therefore up to third position, and Alan Hackman. Or this reminds me that race when Olivier Panis was able to go to the podium because only 3 cars finished the race, or 4 cars, I think it was, in Monaco.
I think Panis won that race. That was Monaco. Yeah, Monaco 1996, where 3 cars finished, and Panis in the Ligier won the race. Oh, that's a story for itself.
Something unseen of in Formula 1.
We might see only 4 finishers as well. If like 1 car drops out now, 1 more car drops out, and we have 4 finishers only. I don't want to root for that, but that would be quite insane. So Jason White is going through the hairpin again. He has a whole lap. His gap to second place is 1.5 laps basically. So
yeah, now
he can go to the pits. He can go to the pits and have a smoke if he wants to. And we're joined by David Jakes, the unfortunate engine failure in the LaRousse. Is there anything else to say, David? What happened there?
I'm going to say mostly self-inflicted. I saw that I was kind of holding pace with Jason, so I just decided to give it everything she had, if blow it up or burn it down, just to give it a shot, see if I could try to put some pressure on him, but he was just too fast. But really fun race, and just want to say thank you to you guys for putting broadcast on.
Did you
over-rev
it or something?
We were here suspecting in the broadcast that you were basically just trying to send a message to Jason Whited and let him know he couldn't really fall asleep and he should be pushing, so as to see if Red Honda honored his unreliability. But instead it was you who suffered it.
Yeah, I was winding it right out to the chip, so I think it was a fair result, but gave it a go regardless. So it was a really fun race. Really appreciate you guys putting it on. Looking forward to next season.
Thank you.
What tires have you been using for this race?
I did both my stints on medium.
Both on mediums, okay.
So given the way the race has unfolded, it's kind of come out like I predicted it, Alberto, with tactical pit stops. So David, do you think next year we'll see races with more than just 1 pit stop or something like that? Tactical pit decisions that might influence the outcome of the race with those new tires.
Well, I'd say based on what we saw here, it's definitely going to be track dependent. So I could probably foresee some that won't need one and some that might need more than one. So it could be interesting.
Amazing.
Yeah, really enjoy it. So thanks for the broadcast, guys. Enjoy. It was really fun while it lasted.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for putting up such a good race with the LaRousse as long as it lasted, David. Amazing. We'll see you next time out.
Slow cars need a little love. I think somebody else said that. I'm going to steal it. So yeah, take care.
Thank you. Night.
User left your channel.
It's amazing. And now we have...
we're going to see lots of casualties, but I know that as soon as people realize how things are and how to drive the cars and take care of the tires, the races will be quite different. We won't be seeing this attrition rate. I mean, probably one of the reasons we've seen it is also because this was a purely test race. I mean, and everybody was like more relaxed, like trying to say, okay, let's see how far I can get away with pushing the car or with doing this or that, and that's fine. I mean, this is exactly the place to do it, in the test race.
And now we have the race coming to a close almost. We're in lap 48 out of 53, so we got 6 laps to go. And a little fun fact, check out the gap between Adam Hackman and Richard Wilkes. It's closing down. So it's only 10 seconds. It was 12 seconds just a few minutes ago, so we might see glimpses of a little battle coming up in the last 2 or 3 laps of this race. So let's see.
Yeah, Adam is doing probably the same thing that David Jacks had been doing, that we already noticed, and that's pushing the car so that Richard isn't comfortable knowing that any small error can mean that Adam is going to be on his toes or even overtaking him.
Yeah. So now,
it's the usual psychological job that you try to do on your rivals.
so Adam is really pushing hard now. He's going to spoon 4th gear there, while Richard is now going towards 130R. He's actually going through 130R right now. And yeah, you can hear it. Adam, he's what? How did Jakes put it? When he was just pushing it to the max. So that's exactly what Adam Hackman is doing right now. You know, either winning or spinning. You either overtake him or you blow up the engine.
Yeah, and you can see, I'm pretty sure that David Jacks did it just because it was a test race. I mean, he's clever enough to know that he can learn in real conditions here what will happen if he does that in the race. So that's fine. I mean, he has thrown his 2nd position away, but he has learned valuable information for the next season. That's the whole point of this exercise.
Yes. So now, there's only 9 seconds, just 10 seconds now between him, Richard Wilkes, and Adam Hackman. We're in lap 49. Or basically, those two guys are lap 48. But they have 1 lap less to run since they've been lapped by the leader. It's amazing. And Adam Hackman seems to be catching up just a little. Let's check out the next lap times as they cross the finish line. Oops. Oh, Adam, he's really pushing hard. He just locked the outside front tire, and yeah, Jason White just puts up the next fastest lap, because why not? 1:44.531. Amazing. The race is almost over, and Jason White, he's pushing it as if it was lap 1.
Yeah, he wants the Grand Slam.
Now, there's no one who's gonna take it away from him now. So he's basically got it wrapped up now. All he has to do is get to the end of lap 53. That's the important bit. And
yes,
Adam,
and now that the car is the lightest, with the less fuel available on board, then it's likely also going to be the moment when he has the best chances of scoring the quickest lap of the race.
so Richard Wilkes, 1:47.181. Adam Hackman crossed the line, 1:46.933. He's catching up to him. Not that much, but we might see them coming a little bit closer. And
it's interesting that they caught up with Gabriele Del Piccolo.
Yeah, really close. And
it's
he's passed him.
More fight there. Now David has been able to overtake.
Oh, he put the foot down there out of the hairpin. You could hear that. Amazing. Okay, 3 laps to go. 3 laps to go as Jason White crosses the start-finish line now, and he puts a 1:43.883 on the table. Unbelievable, Jason White.
Keeping that under his sleeve all the race.
Unbelievable. He's completely dominating this race.
Well, we can say he's very worthy of the car that he's driving.
Definitely.
That's no other than Ayrton Senna.
Definitely. Unbelievable. Prepare a huge trophy to send it to him.
But Jason White is a very talented guy, and I think that right now, given the opportunity of a car that really goes well, he obviously was going to shine. That's fine.
I'm just looking at the lap times. Gabriel Del Piccolo 152, Richard Wilkes 147,
Yeah,
Adam
Gabriel
Hackman
probably has-
145.9. So basically, Richard Wilkes is catching up to Gabriel Del Piccolo, and Adam Hackman is catching up to Richard Wilkes.
Yeah, Gabriel
Now they're
has
pushing
probably
it.
destroyed tires by now.
Yeah, but
But yeah, in this case, as David Jacks told us, the strategy, and I think everybody has followed it, or most everybody has been to stop by half the race and use the medium tires. But in a different track, it could have been 2 stops and going for softs. So we see. It's interesting because these cars will need a lot of testing, a lot of concentration and studying all the options possible. Because in the end, there are so many combinations possible that you really have to be very scientific in your approach.
indeed. Now let's see. There's one straight of a gap between Del Piccolo and Richard Wilkes. And also you can see Adam Hackman, we're now on board with him. He's not revving it to red line. It looks like the Ferrari has up to 15,000, but he shifts it at 14.5. Oh, and he locks up there. He's pushing hard. He's pushing really hard. Richard Wilkes, lap time 1:47.0. Adam Hackman, lap time as he crosses the finish line 1:45.3. And he almost gets to 300 kilometers an hour there on the start-finish straight. Unbelievable. However, whoops. We're now on lap 52 of 53. Jason Whited is leading the
Less
race.
than 6 seconds behind them, and the closer right field is really high. So it will fall short because remember they are all lapped by Jason Whited, so they don't have the 2 laps they think they have. It's only 1 because once Whited crosses the finish line, race is over for everybody.
Indeed. Talking about Jason Whited, the dominant leader of this race from start to finish. He crosses the start-finish line now to start his penultimate, no, actually his final lap now.
Yep.
He has let off the throttle quite a bit. His last lap time was a 1:46, so he's currently lapping slower than Adam Hackman. But he doesn't really need to worry. All he has to do is bring it home in order to win this motor race, since he's got a lap and a half of a gap between himself and the runner-up Gabriel Del Piccolo. He's going through the S's, he's exiting the S's, he's heading towards Stegner Curve, he's short-shifting it, he's making sure that he brings her home, going through Degna.
This is a bad situation for you when you're leading because everything is set up for you perfectly, but you know that this is a situation where anything can go horribly wrong, and you have the chance to actually think about
Oh,
it.
he goes sideways there. Oh my goodness. Jason, don't fall asleep. You're almost at the finish. It's going through 200R, going
If
towards
you've got
Spoon.
another car chasing you close by, then you can even think about it, so you're just driving. But in this situation, he can't think about it. This is so hurting.
Yeah, it's almost like, just put it in 6th and idle to the finish. He could technically turn around, drive this thing in reverse over the start-finish line. He's got all the time in the world. He's going through 130R for one last time. He's going towards the start-finish chicane.
And it's almost over.
He's going through the chicane for one last time. Right, left. And going to the last right-hand corner for one final time. And there it is. Jason Whited wins the Japanese Grand Prix for McLaren. Get in there. He's done it. He's finished it. Absolutely incredible. Absolute grand slam for Jason Whited and McLaren. Now,
a great performance here by Gabriele Del Piccolo, who is about to come second. coming now also to the chicane for the braking.
Gabriele Del Piccolo is going to the chicane now, yes. And there he comes. He comes around the corner. And there he goes over the start-finish line. Gabriel Del Piccolo for Brabham Yamaha, second place. There comes Richard Wilkes.
Wilkes, yep. He was really close behind.
Third place for Richard Wilkes. And fourth place for Adam Heckman. There he comes.
Already Richard Wilkes on site.
Unbelievable. Now where is David Yoon? David Yoon actually has retired.
Did he?
Yeah.
Engine. He broke the engine. Oh my goodness.
No, he's... Oh, I see what happened. Oh. He has actually lost it. Oh, he actually lost it at Degner Curve. Let's look at that. He spins, and you can see it right now. His left rear tire goes flat. Oh, and he makes it out of the gravel trap. And what happens next? Yeah, his engine fails him. Oh my god. In the last lap. And this is exactly what you said, Alberto. You know, last lap is just like any other race lap.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Okay. It was
But Jason White did.
Interesting exercise, and I think everybody has learned a lot about the cars and about the mod. Especially the fact that if you are careful enough and take care of the car and the tires, you can be there at the end. So let's see how it pans out for next year. Anyways, I have to quit now. I have to let you guys. Thank you, Pascal, for the broadcast. It was fun to share the broadcast booth with you. And we'll be back for another time. See you.
Thank you very much, Alberto. And wow, I just have to say, wow, what a race. Oh, Jason Whited has won the Japanese Grand Prix. Amazing race. Fastest lap, every single lap led of the race. Is there anything else to say? Congratulations, sir, and Gabriel Del Piccolo, second place. Now, that's all from me as well. Thank you very much, race fans. Thank you very much for watching this Japanese Grand Prix at ISO. And yeah, we'll see you next time out in 2020. Definitely in 2020. And yeah, that's all from me. Thank you very much. Good night.